Hi, Facebook friends. Helen Arcantu here, CEO of the YWCA of Northern New Jersey. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm so happy to spend some time with you today on a Monday afternoon. Hopefully, you're having a great start to your week. If you're in Northern New Jersey, it's a little wet, a little dreary out there, but we're going to perk you up with our conversation today, no doubt. I'm so grateful to be joined today by Thalia Alexu, who wears many hats. One of them is Reiki Master, another is Holistic Coach. She is an author, she's a Feng Shui expert, she's a creative dreamer. We love those at the YW, and she is a female entrepreneur. We love those too. So we are so grateful to have a woman with so many gifts to spend some time with us today. She is all about making meaningful and transformational connections through her business, through her books, and tell you a little bit about her journey. At the brave age of 21, she left Greece, which is also where my family comes from, and she landed in the New York City area, right in New York, with about $100 in her pocket. And from there, she made her way to Pennsylvania, where she trained to be a Reiki master teacher. She opened her own private practice in Edison, New Jersey, and split her time between clients and her own personal studies and her kids. And she made sure to balance all of that with her annual summer trips to Greece to stay connected to her family there. Increasing knowledge, her knowledge in many energy healing techniques and alternative medicines. She gained recognition early in her career for her healing work with cancer patients, widely known to give the right spiritual prescription and to help connect with their inner doctor. She now continues to teach several Feng Shui and holistic workshops, and she has fulfilled her life's dream of becoming a writer. Now she has 3 books under her belt. So much that we can learn from Thalia, and we are going to be talking to her as she now is going to tell us about her journey as it continues to evolve. She's now going to be an executive producer, an author again, and a screenwriter as she explores and pursues film, television, and theatrical projects as a founding member of the development team Trinity Theatrics, located in Inglewood. So, welcome to a wonderful dreamer, especially on a cloudy gray day. A little dreaming and positivity is always very, very welcome.
Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
So, you know, it's funny, as obviously I shared with our viewers, and we talked about, we are both Greek women, come from the same culture, and we know that our country is very beautiful, right? And
Yes.
there's so many such a wonderful focus on holistic health and natural, so much kind of natural care for yourself in so many ways. Um, but I some of what you're doing though is not so traditional for our culture. Um, so tell us a little bit about what attracted you, into this space, and how you've been able to, balance that with, your life that you
Thank you. Well, I'm an Asia Minor Greek, and my great grandmother was my father's grandmother. She was an herbalist, and she was brilliant. I mean, people from all over the world, in Greece, you will go and see her. I mean, I remember her, people will come with the broken arms, and she will just pound the onions and rip their shirt and tie it aromatically. And then in a couple of days, they were able to have, build up their bones. And I was watching all these, or people will be beaded from a snake, and she would just put in her mouth and just take the poisonous out and create remedies. And so it was very fascinating for me. Even though I graduated from the Academy of Athens as home economics, When I came to United States, I didn't speak English because the time I was growing up, they didn't teach English. They teach French in high school and Latin. That was our language. That was the social thing at the time. So I didn't speak, and it was under the dictatorship also. So I only have $100 allowed to take out of the country, and which was 1,000 drachmas at the time. And I didn't speak English, and a priest in New York helped me a lot. That was my connection. And voila, I just love when I came here. I love the freedom to express because the circumstances in Greece at the time, they were pretty bad. So, and
Yeah.
my dad died when I was only 13. So that was really kind of give me the opportunity. So I fell in love with America because I knew I can express myself. So, and how I started with the holistic, I have it in me. I grew up with. I grew up to say, eat you fish because it will help your vision. I mean, I grew up with the food. And then Hippocrates is, that was his medicine. Your food is your medicine and your medicine is food. Also, he was practicing the psychology of the medicine. I mean, this is not something I said, this is written. I mean, he will say if you were going to see him because you were sick, he will send his clients to the mountain or to the ocean. So, and he will say, then you come and see me in a week if you're still in pain. Okay. So, and what we do now, we have Dracolysis. I'm married to a doctor, so I know that both worlds. So, I personally believe in medicine, but I also believe you are your inner doctor. So, if you take medication and you're negative and then you're not going to heal. So when I started holistic medicine and I opened my office in Edison, New Jersey, at first everybody thought I lost my mind. Everybody were mad with me. They were calling me a witch. And it was okay. Inside you if somebody's calling you something you are not. Actually, I have this practice the other day with a child because he was telling me somebody calling her names. I said, okay, if you close your eyes and if I tell you you are a pink elephant, are you? She says, no. I said, then why are you worried? If somebody calling you a name, it has nothing to do with you. So, and when I started, that was the time they were against anything was studied under vitamins and herbs, and it was really a war. So as being a master teacher, I knew the psychology of the organs. So I focus of working in this on the brain. And I was, go to meditation because when I was 25, I learned how to meditate. I took classes on the community college, and I was the only student, so it was a reason for, right? So, and I knew how to meditate, and it was very important for me to go to see only eight patients and cancer patients. So now, who was coming to me? The people who is they really went to everything, and they were on the end of their journey, meaning having 3 months to live or 6 months to live, and maybe a year to live. And then I start really go inside them and talk to that inner body, to that inner being. And then, I treat a lot of women, and I notice women who will get a breast cancer, an ovarian cancer, and these, and they all have the same symptoms. They were under bad marriages, or they were the givers, and nobody would give them anything. They didn't know the universal laws, which is giving and receiving, otherwise you're depleted. And then when I was working with one, she was a doctor's wife, and I owe all my career to her. I mean, I have a pathos to really help her because she was 41 and she just delivered a baby.
Mm.
And she was diagnosed pretty bad. When she came to me, her husband had her in his arms because she was very, very, very sick. She has no life. She was ready in her way out. And the first thing I asked her is, I said, how many years you want to live? She said, 7. I said, why? She said, I want to see my little girl go to school and then it will be okay. She will remember me, she says.
Mm.
And then I looked the body, it was completely destroyed, like her one arm, it wasn't even moved because of the limbs. And it was like a mess. I said, how the body will work. And one day I was working with her and I channeled information which I, I didn't know. First of all, every day I will meditate. How can I help this woman? I mean, I was so compassionate, to because she has a little baby, and I was like, and so one day I went to my house and I have 3 books that been given to me and I never opened it. We all have this experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they are white and gold, and I always will have in my living room. The physics after the metaphysics of Aristotle. I said, oh, well, one that day I came from my walk and I opened one of these books and voila, it was something there. It says, when Aristotle went to Athens, because he was from North Greece,
Mm-hmm.
when he went to Athens, the Athenians would challenge him and ask him, who is the most misfortunate person on the world? And he says, the one who has no eyes, no arms, no hearing. And he says, the one who has all the above, but he's not grateful to God. I said, oh, gratitude, that's something, I'm going to tell to everybody to be grateful. That was something I add in my therapy. So, and I start talking to her organs, go to your left brain and go to your right brain and just be grateful for that. And your eyes and your vision. It was not just your eyes, it was the purpose of the eyes is the vision, what you want to see and expand it. And then she just started getting better and better. And so she lived 7 years after. And I owe that to Gina. I have a letter from her, a beautiful letter, which she really, and to her end, she called me in her last moments. So what I'm trying to say is we are the inner doctors. You can take the best medicine, and we have a lot of experiences of very wealthy people who is they were able to go to the best doctors, to the best of all, but then they didn't make it because they refuse to accept that inner doctor. They refuse to be honest with themselves.
Mm.
Honesty is a halfway of our healing. So, and I did that for 43 years only. And then I decided to write. I wrote a little book. It is in Amazon. It says Gratitude Equal Increase. And then I read my last book is and then a story of me and my family from Asia Minor and all these the 49 years after, and then I wrote the 3 Dreams, which is a true story about writing my granddaughter's dreams and how I analyze those dreams, and then I like to make my movies now, and I just wrote the first episode of Zoe, which it has to do about a channel I have, and it was an auto writing, and it has to do about bullying. So Patricia and I and our other partner, we wrote 11 of this. It has to do about bullying, and I like to. We working right now to make the first episode. It was accepted in a film festival in Egina this past summer.
Yeah.
And I wrote that due to 2020 because I don't believe the circumstances of our world will stop anybody to be creative. So that's my beliefs. And,
Yes.
and that's where I'm standing right now, trying to make my movies because I want to just continue this journey.
So, I mean, it's so fascinating that you just have kept evolving into all of these different places, and in it all makes sense. I mean, when I'm listening to you talk about your journey, right, that one would lead to the next. But everyone doesn't always have the confidence to take a dream and then see it through to a reality. What do you think has helped you, uh, get from point A to point B, and accomplish such goals?
That is really an excellent question. Um, I feel the reason I did this, it was I listened to my intuition and I really didn't care what anybody else have to say. You know, we got trained, and special women, to really listen to what everybody else have to say about us. If they like our clothing, if they like our makeup, if they like our hair. Really, do we care? Why we should care? But if you really, actually, a lot of times I give a kiss to myself in the mirror. I said, Talia, you did a great job today. You make a wonderful dinner. You know, you were very compassionate to your husband. Because almost 20 years I am with Chris, and we have a lot, sometimes some conflicts of the science and the alternatives, but then he takes more vitamins than me. So, and he makes fascomilo, you know what that is,
Mm,
right?
yes.
Right? So uh, really, and everybody says, how you survive? I said, that was the best marriage I ever have, because he shared his science, and I read all this information come in, and he reads what I have, and voila, and we accept and respect each other. I mean, I remember when I first met him, and we went to a conference with all doctors in New York, and I said, well, how do I introduce myself? He says, the way you introduce yourself, you are a holistic therapist. I said, oh, I like that. So then, voila, it's because I believe I will not introduce myself anything else. I
Right.
have the
Yes.
confidence. This is what I choose to do, and I have a lot of confidence. I mean, I remember after my divorce, dating another doctor he will answer for me, and he'd accuse me something else. I said, oh no, you're not my guy. So, um, you believe in you, who you are, and if you really love and respect yourself. Actually, I have experiences because after the people, you have to fill out a form and sign their name. Understanding I'm not a doctor, um, I always have them to sign, I love myself, and I automatically will know all their lives because they will refuse to sign it. And I knew automatically where their illness came from. Okay. So, and I remember a guy which he has a cancer in his kidneys, and he said, I graduated from Harvard. Yeah, but I said to him that Harvard didn't give you a degree, which he says, you're not going to get cancer, is it? Because I'm going to Harvard too tomorrow. So
Mm,
there it is. People don't believe to really acknowledge who we are. You are very special. Every one of us have something to share, how to. And if you don't, and you just have a laugh or a beautiful appearance, so who really cares? I love you for it. You know,
yes. Well,
go
that's
for
quite
it.
a yeah, I was gonna say that's quite a case for self-love, and the importance of it, because it really can propel you, to have the confidence you need to move forward. And also, it sounds like you have a good support system around you, to balance, and help you grow. So those sounds like those are two of the pieces that helped you, be so successful, in your pursuits, and having them be able to continue to evolve. And it is so interesting to hear about your husband being from the medical profession and you being, really bringing that metaphysical piece into it and you finding a common ground, I do believe that that is what makes the best medicine for sure, is when, both pieces are involved. So,
We learn how to cover things. I remember when I met him, he says, I never dream. And now every day he comes downstairs and tells me his dream, That's
mhm,
because we really train to not sharing our being, There's
mhm,
no one who doesn't dream. Everyone is dream. Now, if you remember or not, that's a different story. But we've been, trained to not expressing ourselves for who we are. I mean, I remember my son when he was 6, he came from school and one day he caught me talking to myself and answered to myself. And he says, Mommy, the man with the white robe, he will pick you up. I said, Really? I hope he comes. And then we busted laughing. So um, I didn't stop talking to myself. I do that all the time. Why
yes,
should I? I like talking to myself. I actually like Thalia a lot.
yes, yes. Well, I love to hear about, what you're saying with dreams, as well. And obviously it ended up becoming, it sounds like the more that you explored the dreams, of your granddaughter, right, is how you ended up writing your book on that. So what is it that those of us, who maybe are not so in touch with our dreams should be thinking about?
Well, it is on the Bible. It is in the Egyptian world. It is on the Greeks. I mean, dreams has a meaning, and it depends how we interpret it. If we interpreted the witches are bad people, then the children or every one of us know witches are bad people. Actually, witches are not a bad people. They were the wise people, so which they have a knowledge, a mystical knowledge, and herbal knowledge, and this and that. And they were very powerful, so people were afraid of them. So one of the dreams, it was my granddaughter was afraid of witches. So she would just wake up in the middle of the night and says she saw the witch dream, and she put it out of the house. So I explained to her, she came to give you a wonderful message, about wisdom and knowledge and then mysticism, and if we really, now the other day a friend of mine called me from New York to tell me she has a dream about a death and her mother told her it's a bad dream. I said, no, it's not a bad dream. I dream all the time about my descending family and friends. So uh, we really have to look how important the dreams is and giving us a message and how can we fix
Mm,
things. I mean, a lot of times my dreams are the vivid dreams are like a psychic dreams. That's another way. But the dreams of Thalia, my granddaughter, which she has my name, is completely a children's dream. So that's why I decided to pick up 3 dreams and write it because it's a great message there,
mhm,
about those dreams. The other dream, it was about dreaming about the apple trees. They were throwing apples at her on the dream. And the way I analyzed it, it was because we abuse our trees with chemicals and bad stuff. So they, the dream was very clear for her to tell that to the world. The dream was saying the apple trees were following her and her mother and her brother, throwing apples, and said, I will poison you. I will poison you. And she'd get up in the morning and cry. And when I explained it, I said, then let's focus on organic. Let's focus on the healing. Let's focus. So, and now she doesn't touch anything if it's not organic. So I, I do that myself from the 80s.
yes. Well, it's so fascinating. And for our viewers, if you would like to read Thalia's book, you can have the link right here. It's in the comments so that you can go right to Barnes and Nobles and purchase it. You can also see on YouTube a little feature that talks about it so you can get some more information. and we do encourage you to stay connected with Thalia. And so as I know, the time goes quickly, and there's so much to talk about always, for sure. But you mentioned that you're working on a film, and you're writing. You're doing lots of writing with your partners, and you have episodes together. Tell us what to be watching for. What's coming next for you?
We did Zoe, and Zoe, it was, like I said, an auto writing, 2020 during the corona and everybody were home. And I wrote the first episode about this special girl, which is from another planet, but she comes and helps groupies, which they were like bullying somebody else. And it was all about bullying. So, and the International Screen Association, we sent the script, the first script, which this is the first script, and that's where we're working right now to create the first short film. It was about, they really helped me to make it even better, where she comes from. And so that will be the secret. We're not going to share that one. So,
well, we'll have to be watching and stay in touch to see what's going on. And we look forward to, based on where you come to date, we know there's much more to come, because you are always a spirit in motion, clearly. And as we all are, and it's wonderful for you to be such a role model and an inspiration, for others to see that, there's always more to do, and that, whether it's life circumstances or, new surroundings, that there's nothing should stop you from your, moving forward on your goals and your dreams. You're a perfect example of that, for sure.
Thank you so, so much. It was so nice meeting you, Eleni. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. And for our viewers, again, I want to make sure that you see here, you can connect with Thalia through her Facebook page. You can connect with her on YouTube and see a little bit about her feature, and also learn about her book. And, we will stay connected to her and share more as we know more as well. And for those of you watching, we hope that you join us later in the week as well. Tomorrow, I'll be talking to Danny Papa of the New Jersey Coalition for Human Trafficking. There's so much tremendous work being done in that organization. As we know, we've brought to you before, and he's going to talk to us about some of their new initiatives that they're working on. So we're grateful to have him. And later in the week, we also have a group chat as one of our series, where we're going to have a wonderful in-depth conversation as well. But we want you all to be marking your calendar on the 29th of March. We have our annual Women's Leadership Conference. We have an outstanding lineup for you of presenters, as you could see here, starting with Senator Ruiz. The Senate Majority Leader is doing our keynote speak to help us power up. We have 3 power panels for you. Just really tremendous women leaders here in New Jersey coming to share with their stories. And we know that the stories are what inspire us all. And working alongside of all the panels, we also have a coach and a sound bath a person to kind of help keep us in the mindset of evolving, exactly what Thalia has been talking to us about, staying in that special place where anything is possible. And that's what we hope for you when you join us on the 29th. So with that, we thank you for joining us today. We hope you have a great day wherever you are, and a great start to your week. And we will see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much for being with us, Thalia.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Gracias. Stop.